Welcome back. Today I'm going to be covering military defense if it's actually needed in a free society, and if we do decide that we need it, how would we obtain it? So first of all, the easy answer is that without being a threat to other countries, it's highly unlikely that we would be attacked. Alright, first of all, I'm going to cover different types of attacks. So, nuclear weapons obviously is a big concern that would cover a huge area of the country. However, it costs about $20 million to create one nuclear weapon. So the chance of another country dropping a nuke on us would be very slim, because you have to realize that there wouldn't really be any motive for them. So for them to just waste $20 million is kind of ridiculous. Beyond that, let's consider other types of airstrikes, if that were to happen. Again, like I said, we're not a threat if we're not attacking other countries. However, one might argue that they might come after us for resources, right? So let's cover that. Okay, there are 22 countries which do not have a standing military. Now, that's not to say they don't have some sort of defense set up. Some of them do. Not all of them, but some of them do. So, being on the defensive would cost significantly less than having a standing army. One of the things that you can do is to use smoke screens. This is actually, this was, I think, in the 1950s, something that they started doing to try to send up smoke to make it harder for aircrafts to aim. So that can help. That's a good defense tactic. You can also have we've proved, actually somewhat recently, that we have militias who are just private citizens who come together with their own weapons and actually enjoy defending people. Let's see, the Bundy Ranch that occurred, there was a more recent one where there were some who showed up. There's a militia group that showed up at one of the anti-Trump rallies to try to calm things down. So those people are out there. They're in every state as we have them now, and rest assured more will spring up in a free society. So I'm not really too concerned about anything on the ground at all. As far as paying for defense, something that I had considered, now again, like I said, it's unlikely that we would even need it if we're not a threat, but I know that's not a good enough answer for a lot of people. So something that I considered is, imagine like the Powerball, right? People play the lottery. They play these ticket games, choose numbers, whatever, Mega Millions, what have you, in the hopes that they will win a large jackpot. Now, there's not always a winner. I'm going to use the Powerball as an example because that's just easiest to use. So the guy's on TV, he pulls the balls out, it's all randomized. And there's not always going to be a winner, and then the jackpot increases from there. More people buy into it, right? So I'm not sure how it works in other states, but I know that a lot of the proceeds from the lottery in Virginia do go towards funding for public schools. They kind of fill in the gap, or supposedly, let's put it that way. They kind of fill in the gap where taxes aren't quite cutting it. So I propose that, let me rewind for a second. If we said, okay, let's assume that this isn't something that you could have at the community level, because let's assume that even though there's a 0.005% chance that it would happen, let's assume that a nuke was going to be dropped on us, right? That concerns everyone. That's not just one community. So it's kind of difficult to say, okay, well, this particular community is going to have their defense, this community is going to have their defense. This is the only thing in a free society that I can think of that you would not be able to do at the community level. I may think of more things later. Let me know if you do before I do. This is the only thing that I can't say that between 1 and 200 people can get together and agree on how they're going to do things, how they're going to delegate it, how they're going to gather the money for it. And of course, we don't believe in taxes, right? We don't believe in stealing from people. So, if you said, okay, well, everyone who wants this defense, right, just like paying for DRO, everyone who wants to have this entire portion of the country protected because this is how much a nuke is going to affect, you're all going to pay for this. Well, that's not going to work. It's not. It could work in a small community. You could get all 150 people to agree to pay for certain security within that community. You can get all those people on the same page. But you're not going to be able to get the amount of people that we have in this country right now, or on this coast even, to all agree to pay for this defense. So you're going to have people who aren't going to pay for it, and then other people who are paying into it are going to be like, well, that's not fair, right? But it's not like you can really say that they can't use it, so then you're just going to have people pissed off at each other. Therefore, the only way that I've come up with to fix that situation would be, like I said, to have a lottery. We see it now. Nobody's getting pissed off about other people helping pay for the public schools that their kids go to. You know, it's like I'm buying my lottery tickets, right? Let's just assume that I am. I really don't. So I'm paying more money into that system, right? But you don't see me getting mad at my neighbor for utilizing it. I don't even have kids, so whatever. The reason why I think that people don't care is because they don't really consider it. That's not the main reason why they're playing the lottery, obviously. Nobody plays it for that. People play it because they want to win the jackpot. That's why they play it. That's the value that it has for them. Therefore, set this up in the same way. Nobody's going to get upset if someone's not playing the lottery, because the reason why they're playing is for another reason. Anyway, so every time that there's extra money or, well, if, let's say, like I said, a powerball type thing, there's not going to be a winner every single time. So when there isn't a winner, then all of that money can go towards the defense spending. If any further research is needed, which there may be some that's necessary. And of course, we would have to have a company that is overseeing this, a company that would be actually possibly performing any research that's needed, and to actually launch any missiles if it was necessary. Again, it would be a lot smaller than having a standing army. It would be a lot more cost effective as well. So we would just use the proceeds from the lottery for that. And as you can see now, a lot of people play the lottery. And furthermore, I think that even more people would play it in a free society if they knew that it was for defense spending. So, one thing, okay, you're getting some defense out of this, which is great. We all agree that it's probably not really necessary, but I myself, and I think many other people, would like to have it there just in case. It's a good idea. It can't hurt to have a little bit of defense, okay? So there you go. So, one, it would be paying for the defense, and two, hey, you might win the jackpot, so it's a win-win situation. And anybody who doesn't play it, then they don't get a chance to win the jackpot. So I think that takes away a lot of the resentment right there. That even though there would be people who maybe are like, oh, well, I don't really care, we're not going to get attacked, I'm not going to pay for it. Oh, well, then you don't get the opportunity to win, so whatever. Like I said, it's like it is now. A lot of this money supposedly goes towards public schools. You don't see people getting pissed off about that, so that's my solution for it. And I think that about covers it. I hope that that was a sufficient enough response. If anyone can think of anything that I missed, perhaps, or if you want to build upon that, if you have any more suggestions, because the only way that we figure these things out, of course, no society is 100% perfect. There's always going to be, little kinks and whatnot. But the way that we work these things out is to talk about it, right? To try to address these issues before they become issues. So go ahead and drop a comment either here, or you can message me on my page on Facebook. Let me know if there's anything that you would maybe change in the plan, anything that you would add on to it, any huge problems that you can see with it. Just let me know, and we will address those. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, and as usual, never stop evolving. See you next time.